If you're not part of the trust economy in 2026, your go-to-market strategy will fail. I'm going to teach you how to go from getting ignored and ghosted to having a trust-based approach that turns skeptical prospects into your best customers. Hello, I am Leslie Venetz. I'm a USA Today Top 50 bestselling author, a profit-generating pipeline, and the founder of award-winning sales-led go-to-market agency. As an individual contributor and a 4-time head of sales, I have made over 250,000 cold calls. My team has made over 10 million, and I've generated over 100 million in pipeline. Now I teach outbound sales teams how to earn trust and drive revenue. Today, I'm going to share with you a secret of top performers, a simple but effective 5-step trust ladder, and the 3 tactical ways you can earn trust and drive revenue in 2026. Later in this video, I'll show you why most sellers are climbing the wrong ladder entirely and how that's costing them deals they should be winning. Let's start with a little reality check. I think I'm going to be so bold as to say that traditional GTM is dead. So if you are still running your sales motion like it's 2009, even like it's 2019, you're already losing. And this isn't because your product isn't good enough. This isn't because your sellers aren't working hard enough. It's because trust is broken. I want you to think about what your buyers are dealing with. They're being bombarded all day, every day with generic ads and irrelevant sales outreach. When they agree to a sales meeting, they're often met by sellers who just sort of word vomit features at them, or they boot up slides and in like a monotone voice tell the prospects how many offices they have and what year the company was founded. And here's what will never make sense to me. When none of that works, and it never does, instead of taking the time to build more buyer-centric strategies, most companies just ask for more volume and more ad spend and more aggressive sales tactics. And that's exactly the wrong move. It sabotages our reputations and it further erodes trust. And you cannot scale distrust into revenue. Let me repeat that. You cannot scale distrust into revenue. Maybe you've seen this play out in your own sales org. But if not, listen to what the experts say about the impact of ruining our reputations with outdated GTM strategies. Deloitte found that companies lose an average of 41% of revenue from reputation events. Aon ranked reputation as the 8th biggest risk facing organizations. Trust isn't just a nice to have, it's a business imperative. But here's the good news. While your competitors are doubling down on volume, you can win more by building trust systematically. In a moment, I'm going to walk you through the framework that will help you earn trust and drive revenue in 2026. I teach sales teams how to build trust systematically using a proven framework I've named the Trust Ladder. There are 5 steps on this ladder, and with your help, buyers climb it 1 step at a time, and every step is critical. So think of it like an actual ladder. If you try to skip a step, you risk falling off. If you don't secure each step before moving to the next one, the whole thing becomes a little unsteady. So you have to climb it intentionally, step by step. And when you understand how the ladder works, you can guide buyers up it systematically. So here's why the trust ladder works. It is because it is grounded in buyer psychology and behavioral science. It is grounded in how humans actually build trust. So think about your own relationships. You search for shared understanding. You ask yourself like how dependable or how loyal a person is, and then return those same qualities. And over time, trust compounds. Buyers are the same. Unfortunately, most GTM strategies just skip the ladder entirely. They jump straight to high volume, low quality outreach. They jump straight to asking for meetings without showing why they deserve the time. They sell the roadmap instead of reality. They use manipulation and sales pressure to push for quick closes. And all of those behaviors break trust. Those behaviors are why sales is one of the most hated professions. And I get it. When I begrudgingly took my first sales job, I assumed it would be rife with those terrible behaviors because I'd only seen sales depicted through movies like Wolf of Wall Street or Glenn Ross. So that means when I first started in sales, I was the seller that used those outdated tactics. I was part of the problem. Only when I switched my mindset from winning, even if my prospect had to lose, to leading with trust and always working to earn the right, did I start closing more deals and having more fun. Here's what this means for you. Even if you didn't fall into those bad habits that I did early in my career, As a profession, we have been teaching our buyers that they cannot trust us. You can now change that with the trust ladder, because when you climb the ladder step by step, you build that trust systematically, and each step brings you closer to becoming a trusted advisor. That's the goal, becoming a trusted advisor. So first, let me quickly walk you through each step, and then you'll sort of see how all of them compound to bring you to that trusted advisor status. And then I'm going to share 2 tactical frameworks and 1 small but significant way to sort of sense check your progress so you can start using trust to drive revenue ASAP. So step 1 is trigger. You need to prove your message is actually for them. This is where most sellers fail immediately. They write generic value props and send messages that could apply to anyone. So I will share one of the most successful triggers that I will use. Feel free, steal the idea, use it in your go-to-market strategy. I want to see you win. So as the head of sales for a global business intelligence org in the procurement space, I knew that chief procurement officers were most likely to buy the service I was selling in their first year in a new role. So obviously kept a very close eye on new CPO hires. But here's what set me apart. I did not immediately reach out with a congratulations on your new role. That is white noise and that adds 0 value. Instead, I waited 2 weeks and then I sent a first 100 days guide with insights from their peers. From research, I knew that CPOs often do like a road show with internal customers in their first 100 days. So the guide was a low pressure, high value way to start building trust from email 1. I didn't ask for a meeting. I didn't rush to sell. I showed understanding and provided value. I paid attention so that I could start earning the right to their attention. Because once you've earned attention, you can climb to the next step on the ladder, which is relevance. Relevance is where they see themselves, or the prospect sees themselves in what you are saying. Jennifer Tejada, the CEO of PagerDuty, understood the assignment on this. Instead of leading with product features, she focused on understanding the core problems customers faced. So they discovered that businesses were struggling with managing complex digital operations, and it was leading to really costly downtime. In response, she actually shifted their entire value prop. According to Tejada, the shift meant focusing on, quote, solving pressing problems rather than just merely showcasing product features. That is relevance in action. When buyers recognize there are challenges in your messaging, they stay engaged. All right. You've earned their attention, and now you are keeping their attention by showing them that you understand their world with relevance. So the next step on the ladder is understanding. And understanding is where you earn credibility. The very best way to demonstrate understanding is through asking great questions. That means that you need to stop asking, so what keeps you up at night? That doesn't demonstrate understanding, it demonstrates laziness. Understanding means asking questions that show you've already done your homework. So here's the difference. So instead of asking, what are your priorities? You ask something like, based on my research, I'm guessing that reducing downtime or streamlining incident response are top of mind for you right now. Is that where we should focus this call? Or what is more pressing? So the generic question forces the buyer to educate you from scratch. You're asking them to do the work that you already should have done. But when you ask smarter questions, the buyer doesn't have to start from 0. They can confirm, they can correct, or they can add context, but either way they're thinking, this person gets it. And that is how you start earning credibility. Okay, so hopefully at this point you're nodding your head in agreement, but you're maybe starting to wonder, like, how do I actually do this? So pay close attention to step 4, and then I'm going to teach you 3 tactical ways that you can earn trust and drive revenue. Step 4 is storytelling. Storytelling is where trust becomes tangible. This is where you use voice of the customer really intentionally. So voice of the customer are those real customer stories that help buyers see the path forward. And when you share a story about someone like your buyer who faced a similar challenge and found success, something shifts. Your buyer isn't just hearing about their product, they're seeing themselves in the story you've told. They're imagining that outcome for their organization. So I'm going to teach you the exact structure I use to format those stories in just a moment, but let me share an example first. Okay, so here's what that might sound like. A CFO at a mid-market company was initially concerned about our implementation time. Within 3 months, They reported a 25% increase in efficiency and a seamless integration with their existing systems. This increase in efficiency meant that projects finished ahead of time and under budget. It earned the CFO a significant bonus, and it enabled their direct reports to get a raise based on that seamless integration. So that's not a pitch. That's a story about someone the buyer sees as a peer. And when the buyer hears that someone like them found success, the resistance starts to drop. So storytelling is what makes trust tangible, and it leads you to the final step on the trust ladder, which is becoming a trusted advisor. So this is the moment where you've earned the right to be seen as a partner, not a vendor. Being a trusted advisor is the difference between you trying to sell your product or service sort of to the buyer or at the buyer, and being trusted enough by the buyer that they view you as a partner in the buying process. You know you've reached this step when buyers pause during conversations and ask questions like, "That's interesting. What would you recommend?" The conversation shifts to collaboration and you can feel it. The best sellers I've worked with know how to use every interaction to build trust so they can pivot from just another salesperson to trusted advisor as soon as possible. But remember, you can't just skip to trusted advisor. You have to earn it by climbing the ladder. Now that you understand the 5 steps on the trust ladder: trigger, relevance, understanding, storytelling, trusted advisor, let me give you the tactical ways to deploy it. I've taught thousands of sellers how to build trust. It's literally the subtitle of my USA Today bestselling book, A Proven Formula to Earn Trust and Drive Revenue. The sellers who get this right and who consistently exceed quota use the 3 techniques that I'm going to teach you. And the first one, it is so simple that you might want to kick yourself for not doing it sooner. If you want to earn attention and keep it, you need to stop talking about what your product does, and you need to start talking about what changes for the buyer. That is what one of my favorite frameworks, the FABS framework, teaches you to do. So FABS is one of my favorite frameworks to share with teams when I am leading training sessions or SCO sessions, because it is sure to be an aha moment for at least a few folks every single time. FAB stands for features, advantages, benefits. So don't be that seller that starts emails talking about I am, or we do, or our product, or my company. Nobody cares. That does not earn attention. But you can use this simple exercise to fix it. So first I will break it down and then teach you how to do it with your own messaging. So a feature is what your product actually does. An advantage is why that feature matters. And it always boils down to the same generic set of advantages like saving money, saving time, reducing risk. You've heard them a million times. Benefit is where I need your sales messaging and conversations to live. Benefits ask, what does this mean for the buyer? What problem goes away? What outcomes do they achieve? Benefits messaging proves that you are speaking to them, not for executives in the business space. It is for them. That is how you earn attention, and that is how you support steps 1 and 2 on the trust ladder. I usually only share this exercise with my clients, but it works so well I want to give you an abbreviated version so that you can have a little bit of your own aha moment. Okay, so what I want you to do is identify one feature that you talk about a lot, and then I want you to ask yourself why it matters to the buyer multiple times until you get to a benefit that actually will earn the buyer's attention. So you're probably gonna have to do like 5 or 6 rounds of asking, but why does it matter? But what is the impact? But how will that affect them? So maybe pause and take a moment to just do that exercise so you know how it feels. And I'm going to assume that you have nailed the exercise and completed steps 1 and 2 on the ladder. So now you're on a sales call and you're trying to tell a great story. I promised you I would teach the storytelling framework that I use. It is called CAR. CAR stands for context, action, result. So if you want buyers to visualize success, you need a clear way to structure customer stories that make them feel real and make them feel relevant. That is what the CAR framework teaches you to do. So let's revisit the example that I shared earlier. I'll show you how I built it using CAR so that you can do it too. Steal this framework, use it for your own stories. I want to see you win. Okay, so let's walk through this piece by piece. So context, start by describing a situation the buyer recognizes. So in the example that sounded like a CFO at a mid-market company was initially concerned about our implementation time. Action, show what actually happened. So this is the specific steps and how the problem got solved. So in the example, that sounded like within 3 months, they reported a 25% increase in efficiency and a seamless integration with their existing systems. Now the result, you have to make it personal. You can't just share a stat. Share what that stat meant for the real people impacted. So in the example, that was this increase in efficiency meant that the projects finished ahead of time and under budget, earning the CFO a significant bonus and enabling their direct report to get a raise based on the seamless integration. When you use CAR, buyers don't just hear about your product, they see themselves in the story. They imagine that outcome for their organization. And this is how you move closer to becoming that trusted advisor. Okay, so CAR, FABs, the trust ladder, these are all proven frameworks and techniques, but none of them work if you're missing the foundation. And that is what I'm going to share with you next. If you want to climb the trust ladder successfully, you need to ask yourself one question before every single interaction, and that is, have I earned the right? I saved this idea of earn the right until now because if you're still here, that means you're serious about earning trust. I started to develop the earn the right approach in response to that very first sales job that I talked about, a job where I fell into those terrible habits. I was using aggressive sales tactics, manipulation. Maybe I was doing some spamming. I was using all of those habits that teach prospects not to trust us. And I realized that that approach doesn't work. So I started to develop my own. Earn the right isn't a technique though, it's a mindset shift. It's a mindset shift that changes how you approach every single step of the sales process, and it underpins everything else that we have learned today. And because you've stuck with me until now, only you are going to get the secret to amplifying the success of everything else that I have taught you in this video. Because the sad truth is that most sellers operate from a place of entitlement. I sent an email, so I deserve a response. I booked a meeting, so they should show up engaged. I have a good product and they should just want to buy that. Get on board. The earn the right mindset flips this entirely. You don't deserve attention. You earn it. You can't demand their time. You earn it. You can't default to having their trust. You earn it. So my gift to you is this simple but very powerful question. Have I earned the right to make this ask of my prospect? If all you've done is ask for things, their time, their trust, their business, you have not earned the right to advance the deal. The earn the right mindset is the foundation that makes every other framework work. FABs helps you earn attention and relevance. CAR helps you tell stories that build trust. But neither of those techniques matter if you're approaching sales from a place of entitlement instead of service. More importantly, this mindset shift transforms how buyers experience you. So you're no longer just another salesperson demanding their attention. You're someone who's done the work, someone who understands their world, and someone who's consistently added value. 2026 is the year of the trust economy, and this is key to your success. When you commit to earning the right and to climbing the trust ladder, you will stop getting ignored because you're finally proving your messages are actually for the buyer. You'll have better sales calls and shorter sales cycles because you show up prepared to provide value, not just to ask for money. And you will close more deals because your prospect views you as a trusted advisor. They will teach you how to help them buy. Buyers will experience you differently. You're no longer just a salesperson. You are that trusted advisor who understands their world and who has consistently added value. You become someone they want to talk to. And when you climb the trust ladder systematically, the buyers don't just buy from you. They refer you. They become advocates. They give you testimonials. This is that compounding effect of trust. Okay, so let me bring this all together. We started with one question. Why is traditional GTM dying dead? The answer is trust is broken. And most companies are making it worse by prioritizing volume over value. I am telling you that there is a better way. The trust ladder gives you a systematic approach to building trust. And here's what I want you to do with it. I want you to pick one step on the trust ladder, maybe one where you're the weakest, but just one, and be honest. Then grab the framework that supports that step and commit to using it. If you need help with this, you can find some additional resources as well as a link to book time with me on my website at salesledgtm.com. I also deep dive all of these concepts in my full 9-step proven formula in my USA Today best-selling book, Profit Generating Pipeline. You can snag a copy of that at salesledgtm.com/book, because here is the truth. The sellers that win in 2016 aren't going to be the ones with the most activity. They're the ones that are earning trust systematically. They are the ones that are climbing the trust ladder intentionally. That's how you build something that lasts. Imagine what it would feel like to be the seller that prospects look forward to talking to. By using the techniques and the mindsets that you learn today, you can become the trusted advisor that your prospects crave. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and now go and earn the right.